Hello friends, I am Frederick and I'm happy to have you here today. This is Netcode-Hub channel and you are welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about how to use Signal R to create chat in .NET 8 Blazor with interactive WebAssembly. I believe you've heard of Signal R connection before and you know what it does, isn't it? If not, stay tuned. I'm going to take you through how to use the Signal R to create a simple to an advanced chat in Blazor application. Before we dive right into this, make sure you have subscribed to this channel and also turn on the notification icon or the bell so you receive an update as soon as I upload a new content. You can also like this video to support this channel as well. Then the next question is, what is Signal R? Signal R is a real-time communication library in ASP.NET Core which allows server-side code to push content to connected client instantly. So in the context of Blazor, Signal R is used to enable real-time web functionality, allowing the server to push content to client instantly as soon as it becomes available, rather than having the server wait for a client to request a new data. So here, as soon as the server gets data, it pushes to the client. It doesn't wait for the client to rather make a request. No. With the help of Signal R, the server can now push data as soon as it retrieves or it gets a data, it pushes it up to the client. In Blazor application, you might use Signal R to create interactive features like live chats, and that's what we're going to have a look at, real-time data update, and etc. But in the context of this video, we're going to look at how to use the Signal R to create live chat. Okay, so for you to have the basics of this, I'm going to start from scratch. So this project or this lesson is going to be a transitional lesson or transitional project. If I say transitional project, what do I mean? What I am trying to say here is we're going to have the core basic of implementing Signal R. Then in the context or while the video progresses, we can decide, so we can be adding some features to it. Okay, so let's actually do that. Now we're going to create a new project in here, so make sure you have your Visual Studio 2022 launch in here. Before we click on create new project, I do offer coaching or mentoring to people who are interested in .NET technologies, talking about Blazor, Server, WebAssembly, .NET 8, Web API, Maui, Blazor Hybrid, and etc. Alright, so if you're interested, when you check this video description, I have an mail in there. You can write to me through it. That's fine. Let's get this project created. So create a new project in here, and we're going to choose which one? Web app, since you're going to use for .NET 8. And here I'm going to say demo. So Blazor web app wasm chat. Well, it's better as Signal R. So Signal R. When we are done with this project too, if you want to get the source code of this, check the video description and you're going to have it in there. Okay, so demo Blazor web app wasm Signal R chat. Wow, that is a nice name for this project. So click on this and I'll get this project created. So .NET 8, and now for the authentication type here, we're going to maintain it none. And from this, the interactive render mode, we're going to use this WebAssembly. Okay, so let's maintain this WebAssembly, and here the location, let's maintain the default one as you can see from this. Click on create to get this project created. So once the project is being created, the next thing that we're going to do here is we want to build the project. But before we build this project, I want us to download or install the package that we need. Okay, so the package that we need here, it is the Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.signalr.client. And as soon as you hear client, what comes to mind? It tells you that we're going to put inside the client here. So I click on dependencies on the client, then let's install this package. So manage NuGet packages. And now from that section, we're going to click on maybe signalr.client so we can get that. So signalr and maybe the client, we're gonna have access to it, or we can maintain this and we're gonna catch it in here, and that is it, this one. So let's install this Microsoft.ASP.NET-Core.SignR.Client 8.0.2 as I record this video. Maybe the near future you might have more than this, okay, but let's maintain this what we have in now. So we're going to use it. So we have the project being the package being added, right? No confusion here. Go to dependencies and click on packages, and you must have this in here. It tells you that yeah, it has been installed successfully. Now let's rebuild the whole project, and now let's see if everything is intact or is working as expected. Oh, all right, so you can see that two projects successfully built. As you can see from here, yeah, we have it. So that's the server and now the client. Okay, so that is all that we can do from here. We can now close this peacefully because you are done using this. Now the next thing that you're going to do here is, you can see if I close this node, you can see we have the chats. We have chat.client. So this is a client and that is a server. You know, here we have to create a hub. Now this hub has to be in the server. So make sure you open the server and let's start to create a hub. So right click on the project itself. Let's add a new folder to this, and maybe we can just chat hub. Well, anyone that you want to. So chat hub is a folder. And now in here we can okay, so maybe we want to, or we can make this plural, so chat hubs. Now right click on this and let's add a class. So the class here, let's make this as chat hub. Okay, now we have our hub ready. So it has to inherit from this hub. Okay, so it has to inherit from this hub, and this hub is coming from default one. You know, from the server side, it has a hub already. You did not need to install it on the server because it has already, and it's Microsoft.ASP.NET-Core.SignR. Okay, so from the server side, it needs it. It's only the client that is where we need to install, and that is exactly what we did. So that's where we can find it here. Okay, so don't install it again. We have it there already. Okay, so we have this up, and the next thing I'm going to do here is we're going to implement maybe a method which will be used to send or communicate the message or the chat. So we're going to say that a public, you can have an async task. This is the name that I'm giving. Okay, so that's the default one. You can actually change it to any name that you want. Did I say send method? Oh, okay, so that's send message. And now with this, we want to have username. So that is username, the one going to send a message. And now it's message. You can also add daytime. Okay, so username, string, we're going to have message. And now maybe date time. Okay, and we're going to say message date, or let's say date is okay. So these are the parameters that we are passing in here: the person name, the message, and now the date that the person is sending. Okay, so we open this, and once we open this, we can actually we can use this lambda expression, very simple one. Then we're going to say that await client. As soon as we open the hub in here, we inherit, we can now have access to clients, and on this client dots, we're going to have access to all. So all clients, we are sending the message to all clients. We want to broadcast the message to all clients. I hope this is clear. So dot send async. Now with the send async, what are we doing here? We need to also specify a method that's going to be called later on. So here I'm going to say that we're going to receive, so receive message. Okay, receive message, and in here we need to specify the username, the message, and what, the date. So these are the parameters that we are passing to this method. Okay, so we have the receive message. You want to pass in this method because these are going to come in with these parameters. Now when we get these parameters, we want to pass them to this method, and these are the values that we're going to use as also parameters to this method. Okay, fine. This is very simple. So we have this method created already, and we can just close this. Let's save this. The next to do here is to register the Signal service. So where do you register it? Do you have an idea? Go to the server program.cs, and now down here before this app build, take note, never do it here. Okay, you can try it and see. If it doesn't work, then come and do it here. But trust me, this is the best place. Okay, so we say builder.services, then .add Signal R, not singleton, it's Signal R. I didn't say single, Signal R. Okay, so add this. Now, after adding this service, what you do here is to create the Signal R or the hub URL. What is the hub URL? That's the chat hub. This. We want to create a URL that can be used to redirect a message onto the Signal R chat hub. So we can do that also down here where we have the pipelines. So maybe here we're gonna say that app.map. You see, map hub. Now this hub, we need to specify the hub that we created. That is the chat hub. And in here we need to specify the route. So what is going to be the route? You can customize it to suit. You can even add your name. Try it and see. But let's say this is chat hub for practical purpose. Okay, basics 1, chat hub. Now let's save this. So we have our service created. We have the pipeline being also added, being configured. Okay, so that is it. Now we are done with our server section. Let's go to the client and let's start to do the magic in there. So let's close this, open the client, and in here from the pages we have pages. Let's create one, and maybe this we're going to say that this is a chat page. This chat page, we're going to specify the route in here as maybe chat. So let's see, this is page title, this is chat, and let me customize this. So Netcode-Hub chat, and now on top here we can have page, and this is chat. Okay, now in order for us to forget, let's add a render mode so that we don't come and do it later. And from the onset we chose WebAssembly, so you have to also set it down here straight. Okay, let's go to nav menu from the server section, components, layout, and now we have this nav menu. So all these guys that we have here, we're going to clear all. We don't need any of them again. Okay, now left only one, and now here it is referring to, let's say, chat. So if I click on the home, it means I'll navigate to the chat. Okay, and now that is it. Also from this, we have this chat in here. Okay, so that is it. We have the chat, and we have in that. Let's save this. Maybe we can try this up and first check it out if you're going to navigate to this page for us to see. Alright, so it is ready. This page is ready. If I click on home, we are into the chat, and we have Netcode-Hub chat as a page title, isn't it? But I think we have to change it to chat because we don't want to maintain, or we don't want to have in that name. And how can we do that? The same nav menu, you can see that's a home, and we're going to say this is chat. Okay, and now this is going to solve it. Alright, so now that we see this is working, what else can we do? We go to the chat page, and that is where we're going to do the magic in here. First of all, what I'm going to do, we have to create our connection. That is the hub connection. So we can have hub connection. So hub connection. I know you can add private in here. If I made it defaultly, it is in private mode. I think so. So there's no need. If you want to explicitly do it, then we can be short of, or that we want to have it in the context of this page. So that's why we're going to say that here we're going to check for now, and we say this app connection. Okay, aside from that, maybe we can have a list of message. So let's say this is a private list of string, and now we say this is what messages equal to, we can use the new one, the new less an array, and we can have maybe private string, okay, username, let's make this as nullable, and we can also have another one. So this is string, and this is message, and the last one here, there's no need for us to do this. The last one is a private. We have date time, okay, and here we can say this is date. Okay, so this is what we're having now. All right, now with this date, we can actually have this equal to date time dot now. Okay, so when we assign, we have a default value for this, because here user do not have access to this. Maybe we can just skip this, and I want to get to the sending session. We specify the value for this date. So we have these three properties in here, and that's what we need. Okay, now we're having the date, we're having the message, we're having the username. Okay, that's fine. Now let's see. So aside from creating this, what's the next thing to do? We have to build the connection. The connection here, defaultly it is null, so we have to build the connection. How do you build the connection? We can build it down here in the simple steps. We can do that peacefully and in an easy way. Okay, and this build connection has to happen as soon as the page initializes. That is on which page lifecycle? Which one do you think? On initialize. That's correct. Okay, so override, then on initialize async. When the page initializes, that is where we want to perform this magic. So we're going to say that app connection dot, first of all, let's create an instance first, equal to new app connection. Okay, then app connection builder, not the connection itself, because you want to build it, you want to create a builder like a string builder. So we want to build it. So in the building process, the first thing to do here is we want to wait URL. And now with this URL, what are we doing in here? We have to specify the location, point to the route. And where can you find this route? We have to inject navigation manager on top here. So we say that this is not a context, I need manager. And we say this is nav manager. So this nav manager, let's grab this quickly. Let's come in here, and now we're going to specify this nav manager dot to absolute URI. And here, what is the URI? Do you remember this? Do you remember? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Exactly, that's how it is. When you go to the Netcode-Hub or the program.cs file, this is what we are referring to. Okay, so we come to the chat page, and we have this. Okay, the last one dot build. So we build the connection in here, and now as soon as we have this, we are good to go. Not only that, this must be, since it's a task, you know, this must be an async, and I believe you know this long time ago. Good. Okay, now once you are done with this, what's the next thing to do? We then need to create a listener to listen to all messages that come to the method specified in the hub. Okay, so this is a message. This is a message of the method. That's the method that we specified in here as what? This is going to be the receive message. So we need to create a method to listen to all messages which going to be sent and we received. So let's create this listener. We go to the same chat page, and now down here, see where I'm going, and not that chat page. Yes, that is it. Okay, now down here, what can we do here again? We're going to say this app connection, because before I get to this, the connection has been built and has been pointed up to the URL, so we have it already. So we say chat or app connection dot then on. So with this on, we need to specify the data types that we specified as a parameters. You know, the first one was the string, it is username. Second one is what? Another string, it is message. And the last one was date time. Do you remember? Date time. Okay, so these are the parameters that we need to specify. When you go and check it again from here, you can see we have string date time, right? String date. The same thing, string date. That's fine. Okay, now once you're done with this, here we're going for, if I do this, the method. Have you seen the method name? And what is the method name in here? What do you think with the method name? Check here from the hub. We are now writing this, so that's a receive message. So we are listening to the message from this method. And now aside from this, we need to specify, let's say here, I think one is left out. Okay, so this must be in here. Okay, now in here, what do we need? We need to then specify some things up. Okay, so we come back to this, but the next thing that we need to do here is we have to specify the message. When you check this receive message method, it takes in 3 parameters. So let's do that magic, and we can have them from here. Username, that is 1, isn't it? We have message, that is 2, and now we have date, that is 3. So within this date, we say that this date is equal to this date time dot now. So we specify this date. Let's see what it's saying. Okay, so datetime dot now, and we also need to make a pointer to this, and that is where we do our specifications in here. Okay, so I think this is supposed to be set out straight ahead from this area, so we will know that this coming in here this coming in here must be a complete data. Okay, yes. So anytime that I want to grab date time, we get from the current time that we have, or the current date and time, then we pass on to the method, the receive message method, as a parameter in here. Very simple one. Now when it comes here, what are you going to do? You know, this message, we want to display it on the screen, isn't it? So simply let's have maybe our concat message. Yes, so it's equal to, then we're going to have this interpolation. Interpolation again. What can we do again? Yes, we're going to now do some magic in here, and the first thing we want to do here is we want to build something. Okay, we want to build a date first. So here we're going to say that date. Okay, aside from that, we can have our environment dot new line. Okay, then it's going to get us the next line, and we're going to have a name. So let's have maybe the name in there. And now what is the name? Username. You know what, this is supposed to be in this form. I believe you are doing the right thing. Okay, now you have the name, and maybe you can also have the same thing, environment dot new line. Then what again? So maybe we can have something like this. Oh, this is going to give us some errors. Okay, so it means it has to be on the same line. Okay, so we have this new line, and the last one here we have the message. Very simple one. Okay, so this is what we are having. We terminate this peacefully. So we have the date, new line, username, new line, and our message. This is very simple. Okay, now once you're done with this, what can we do again? We come to the next line in here, and within this last line we're going to say that messages, you know, we have this message as a list of string, so dot add Then with this add, we're going to pass in this concat message, because since a list, a string, we can just basically add it. And you know what? State has changed to get this content displayed on the screen for everybody to see it. Okay, so we are done. But there's one thing. We haven't started the connection. So hub connection dot start async. Let's use this async. And as soon as async comes in, you must have an await because it says synchronous. Okay. Now everything is in order and it's going to work as well. Okay. Maybe here we can also check if, maybe let's have and see. So it's connected. It's, you know what? This must be a Boolean expression. So it's connected. We can then point up to hub connection dot state is equal to hub connection state dot connected. Okay, now let's check for nullable here, so we can check it up straight. Okay, so I believe we are now done. We are good to go. Now what else can we do? Let's have a send method, so we can send as soon as you click on the button. And now here we want to send to this method, send message. You know, we have a method here, send message, and now we have to call this. And now when calling this, we have to pass in these parameters in here. And now when passing these parameters, this is also going to call this as a method, and now passing the same parameter is going to hand over to this guy. And now this guy is going to broadcast it to all the clients. So let's call this send message. In our chat page, we can do that down here. We can say this is task of what, send. And now with this send, we can just point it up to this. Since it's returning empty, we can say this hub connection dot send async. And now this send async, what are we sending? The method name is what? Send message. And also, what are the parameters? Pause the video and I'll pass them through it. Let's see who finished it first. Username, message, and now date. So we need to pass in the 3 parameters, and that is all. Okay, check for nullable. Yeah, fine. Now what else do you have to do again? Let's check it from here. So maybe we can have our div class, and maybe this class is gonna be row, and now with this you're gonna have div class, maybe column md8, lg6 or 7, okay, and here we can have our class as card. So we're gonna have a card header, and now with this header we're gonna say that this is Netcode-Hub charts. You see, now we have this. Let's have the body and then the footer. So div class, we have card body, and we're gonna have the card footer in here. So div class again, card footer. Now in the card footer, we're gonna check if this is false, is connected, is false. Then what are we doing? We want to display div class. Then there is an alert danger. Then we're gonna say that chat or connection disconnected. So disconnected. Okay, so chat disconnected. Okay, else what are you doing? So else we can just grab same thing. We can then grab the same thing in here and now paste it. So let's set this to success. Then chat connected. You see? Now inside this body, what are we doing? We're going to now loop through this and display. So first of all, let's have our UL, and now with this UL, let's have our class, and this is list group. So in here, you're going to say for each item in messages. So var item in messages. You see? Then we're going to have access to li. Then in this li, what are you going to have? We can have the message. You see? So the message or this item. So we can just make it message here to make it more clear and readable. So display the message, and in here, aside from that, maybe we can have class. We say mb2. That's all that we need to do. You see, it is very simple for the basic chat. Okay, let's give it a try. Alright, so they can see from here that it is ready. And if I click on this, yes, we have chat connected. So connection has been created. Hub connection is successfully built. And like I said, it's working. How do you test to see if this is actually connected? Let's see. When you go back to the source code again, from the hub connection, here we are starting. So before we start, let's do this. Let's stop this, okay? Now let's see if heart reload is working. If not, then we're going to reload this again. Yeah, so this is working, isn't it? Now let's reload this page. Yeah, disconnected. You see that? So chat is being disconnected when the connection or the hub connection has not been started or is not established. As soon as it does, then we can have chat connected. In the process of connecting, we're gonna have chat connecting, and you can actually, it has exposed or that endpoint, that method that we can actually, it's a boolean that we can assign it and manipulate it in our code. But for now, we're not going to tackle that. We want to check up either connected or disconnected. That's fine. Now, but you see from here, we do not have any form to fill. Nothing to type. Okay, so let's see. We're going to undo this. Then in here, we need a simple form. How do we get this form? We have this lip message in here. So this is the down here. We can have this div class, and on this class, maybe we can have access to border primary. Okay. Now within this border primary, we're gonna have maybe access to div class. We can have hstack. Gap is maybe 2. Then let's have an input. Now with this input, we're gonna have a class as form control. Now at bind, we're gonna say this is what? Username. Okay, so bind to username. Then from this, we can have the weight to be 25. So you have username in here, and we have to specify the type here as test. Okay, So we now have this. What is it saying? It does not exist. Don't we have username? Okay, so this is what I did, right? So you must provide this username. We have to do same, and now this is gonna be test area. So input test area, or let's say, do we even have input test area? Okay, so maybe let's have the same input. So not this input. Yeah, so we need this test area. Then in here we have the type. We don't need to specify the type because we know the type here is test already. That's why the test area. We don't want this width. Now this is message. Okay, then aside from that, what else? Down here we can have MB4. Then down here we can have a button. You have a class as btn success, and at on click, what are you calling? Send. Then here this is send message. I believe you know the definition for this send, and that is exactly what we made clear here. Okay, now from now let's run this and see. Yep, so it is ready. Now if I click on chat, we must have a beautiful chat. Yes, this is our chat, so we are connected, isn't it? Then you see the page load, you saw that it was disconnected and then later connected, isn't it? Yeah. So this is the name. So I'm going to type in netcode. This is Netcode-Hub, okay? And I'm going to copy the same route in here, create another one. Then I'm going to add this like this and that, okay? So we have this beautiful chat, two chats in here. So this is Netcode-Hub, and now this is going to be Frederick, as you know. And maybe we can also add one, and maybe that will be your name. What do you think? You see that? So I was able to have this into the 4 sections. I have this Opera Mini for one browser. I have these instances open twice for the Microsoft Edge, and our chat is ready. So this is Frederick, this is Netcode-Hub, and now this is what? You. So your name is here. This is your name. Now, who will initialize or initiate the chat? You or I or the Netcode-Hub? Okay. So maybe let me set the ball rolling. So I'm going to say hello. So hello everyone. Are you there? So I click on send, and now I can see that, oh yeah, we have an issue here. So it is saying that the current thread is not associated with the dispatcher. So use this invoke async to switch execution to the dispatcher when triggering or rendering or component state. Okay, so this we can solve it in a simple way. Now when you check this, actually you could see that the message was broadcasted to this. We have the name. Okay, so here this did not work. So the environment.newline did not work. Okay, so we're still having the same. We have the date, we have the name, and we have the message. You see? So this is what we have. Alright, so for now, this is what we have in here. Now let's actually check and correct that error. We can close this. And now here, instead of calling this straight ahead, we can actually do some magic in here and now twist this a little bit. How can we make this happen? We can do that in a simple term by what? Using an invoke async. So maybe let's clear this. Oh, you're not going to even clear. We can surround it make it as a pointer. Then let's have a pointer to this, and here let's have an invoke async. Yes, invoke async, and here we are calling a method. You see, that's what we are doing. Very simple. Let's rerun this again and check it out. Okay, so let's start again. This Netcode-Hub. Now this is going to initialize the chat. So hey, I am starting. Then click on send. So we see Netcode-Hub say I'm starting. Let's see. Now this is Frederick. Then Frederick will say starting what? Now let's send. You can see I have it. Now maybe here your name. Then you can say that please stop or wait. I am on my way coming. When you know what is going on, then click on send. And I could see that each is getting, because a receive message method, and we're going to broadcast the whole message to the client, passing in the time, the username, and now the message itself. Okay, so that is the way. So this is the foundation. We know how to create a simple chat, creating a project, creating the hub, registering the hub in the service, creating or building or creating the hub URL, installing the package, creating your page, starting hub connection, build it, call the method, and I'll send message. Okay, that's all the steps involved in using the Signal R. Now we are going to talk about the next update, and that is, you see that instead of watch here. Instead of this, we're having an issue here. Concat message, we want to display it or render it beautifully, but you see we saw it all one line of code, and that's not the best, and I'm not sure that's what you even want, isn't it? So we're going to do this well. Okay, and also we don't want to pass in many parameters in here. See, we are passing 3 parameters. Also maybe later on, if you want to pass something like image, if you want to pass in something like any other, what can you do? Unless you keep extending these parameters, and that's not the best way. So let's see how to improve the two guys here, this and this, by introducing model. So how to use model, we're going to replace these 3 guys here with a simple model to handle that. So let's have a look on how to do this in the next video. So thank you so much for watching this for now, and I believe you're going to stay tuned and I'll watch the next video, whereby we're going to advance this project, this chat project. All right, so catch you up again. Till then, take care.